And welcome back inside the Coach Donnie Mays Show. I am Jack Withrow, alongside head coach of Hurricane High School, Donnie Mays. And coach, a victory in that first week against Winfield, 48-21. You got up early, 28-0 at the half. How important is that to get that first victory?
It just kicks your season off the right way. When I was at South Charleston again, it's what I know is when you start your season off with a win, it kind of leads you down the right path.
Yep.
And we talked about that with the kids. We enjoyed the win Saturday, had breakfast together, got a quick workout in, did a preview of our upcoming opponent, enjoyed it all day Sunday, just relaxing, and coaches met and went over the new game plan, and then today it's back to business.
Let's recap the ball game against Winfield on Friday night. Always a big rival game, big crowd, always expected. And again, Friday night over at General Stadium, it was a big crowd. The importance we talked about of getting that first victory, but you've got a lot of new and younger players in your system. Obviously, you're the first-year head coach down here.
Yeah. A
lot of nervousness in the pregame?
No, not really. I was more focused on just making sure that we executed properly. It's always, for me, it's always going through my head the center quarterback exchange.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing going through, because if you get those messed up, it throws off everything. So we made sure that that was our focus in the pregame, and I had, Noah and the guys over taking snaps prior to going out. So very important to me. So nerves, no. I was more anxious, ready to go.
What about the kids?
It was hard to tell. I think they were eager to play.
Yeah.
Everybody talked to them about how they always start off slow against Winfield and in the past, and I just flipped that script with them, and I told them, I was like, you control this.
Mm-hmm.
The past. This is now. And we're going to go out here and we're going to start off strong and we're going to finish strong. We started off real strong.
Yeah.
Third quarter we had a little hiccup, but that's good because we had to rebound and come back from it. And I thought we did a good job in the middle of the third quarter and early in the fourth of just kind of finishing off the game. It was only going into the fourth quarter it was 35-14, and my past knowing football, that game's still in reach.
Right.
I don't care who it is. If you start subbing out guys and they start punching score after score and your guys are sitting over there, that can change the whole game. And they weren't subbing. So we kept our guys out there a little bit and played some football still. And then, whenever it got under 5 minutes, that's when we started making our substitutions because we were going to make sure that the game was in hand. My rule of thumb is, if you're not going to sub out your guys, I'm not going to sub out mine.
Mm-hmm.
So
you don't want your 2s and 3s in there against their 1s.
No, it can change the whole game.
Yep. Let's talk about that offense first. A balanced offensive attack, 220 yards rushing, 239 yards through the air. Of course, sophomore Noah Villathambi. I knew I'd screw that up, but Villathambi. I'll get it right. But his first start in high school. Your assessment of Noah?
Highly accurate. Made 2 bad decisions, led to interceptions. He hung a ball up. In his decision making, it was more the type of throw he made versus the decision.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to work on that this week, is making sure that you're making the right types of throws to the certain areas of the field. Some areas you got to rip the ball, and some you can put a little air under it. He exchanged that a little bit and got picked off down the middle, but overall, 239 yards in your first game, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he looked like he's a seasoned veteran, really. He looked like he'd played for a while. And that was important to me because he was comfortable. I mean, we marched the ball right down the field on that first drive, and he was 3 of 3. Mm-hmm. And at one point in the game, I think they said he was like 8 of 10. So, I think that the future is bright for him if he continues to play like that.
Yep. We're looking at the stats here. Tyshawn Dews, 3 catches for 22 yards. His brother, LaRon, also 3 catches. So the Dews brothers comes in big on that first week.
They were both targeted 6 times. The idea is trying to get the ball to your playmakers. Mm-hmm. And those 2 guys can really make plays. I think Tyshawn was that close to taking a 70-yarder to the house, and it just kind of slipped through his fingertips. But you know what? The things I've noticed about him is he's a competitor, and next week he'll step it up.
Yep.
So there's going to be one week that he has something like this happen to him, but he had a 220-yard receiving game in our scrimmage. So, I mean, he's very explosive. So I look forward to him just really taking over.
Now let's talk about the offensive line and their performance in week one.
We played 8 guys. One guy got in later than the others, but out of those 8, 7 guys really rotated in and played. We're getting them graded and all that stuff, but I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage. So important to what we're trying to do, because we're trying to line up, go fast, snap the ball, take advantage of angles, push people around a little bit, and be more physical, and I thought we did that.
Yeah. Mistakes on the offensive line? Obviously, you're probably going to expect some that first game out. I know penalty-wise, we had a few penalties, blocks in the back, and ineligible downfield, brought a score back. But that's to be expected. Let's move on to running backs. I know you used Mondrell Dean and also Jeremiah Riffle. Terrific game.
Amazing.
4 touchdowns, I believe 190 yards rushing. It's got to be your player of the week on the offensive side.
Oh, yeah, offensively it was Jeremiah. I mean, it would have been a decision between him and Velatombi, but Jeremiah from the get-go controlled the game, and he forced the defense to make decisions of coming down into the box, which it really opened up the throw late in the game. Well, like I said, we get his shoulder pad level down.
Yeah.
And him getting 190 already, hey, this kid could be special.
Yep.
And he's very physical, hard to bring down after first contact, which is what I really enjoy about him.
Yep. Well, we'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about the defensive side on Friday night as, again, the Hurricane gets the victory in week number 1 over Winfield, 48-21.
Generations Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and walk-in services available. Generations Physical Therapy. Multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can trust.
Welcome back into the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Jack with her alongside Coach Donnie Mays. And if you can see behind us, the JV game is going on and while we record this. But, Coach, we want to talk about the defensive effort on Friday night against Winfield. I know Mondrell Dean had a monster game on Friday night.
14 tackles, man, all over the place. Our inside linebackers were tremendous. Mondrell had 14 tackles, 2 quarterback hurries, and a forced fumble, which led to a scoop and score for Bryson Morrell. Lucas Ripito had 9 tackles and a sack. And then our third linebacker, inside backer, is Joey Keano. And Joey came in and given those guys a break and had 7 tackles on his own. So inside we had 30 tackles.
Well, that's what you want. You want your linebackers making the plays.
That's right.
On
you
defense.
want your linebackers making a lot of plays. But with that said, our interior made a great play too.
Yep.
Like we had 6 tackles from our nose tackle,
Yep.
Nate McKay. And then our 3 technique, Jacob Ellis, had another 4 or 5. So we really did a good job of eating up that middle, forcing them to go outside, in which Cam Phillips and Heath Montgomery were coming down on the outside making big plays. Cam had a nice job one time where he forced the ball back inside, and here came Mr. Heath to knock somebody out.
Yeah.
I mean, Heath really laid the wood on that kid.
Yeah, I saw that play. We had it on our Twitter account. A big stick by Heath Montgomery, the snake handler, which we're going to have him on the show tonight here later on. We'll have him in, the senior defensive back, Heath Montgomery. But overall, a very physical defense on Friday night.
I thought they did a great job of swarming the football. I think, you're going to have it in the first game. I think we misaligned a couple times. But, when you can mess up and you play fast to make up for the mistake, it makes everything better. So, overall, I mean, we kept them out of the end zone for the most part in the first, 2 quarters. And then that third quarter, we kind of screwed up ourselves. There was one situation where they got 2, or 3 straight penalties to put them down inside the 10. So we kind of bit our own, we paved the way for them to get down there. So I think we can clean those things up with penalties and make our defense and offense and special teams go a lot better. One thing I'll say about penalties, though, is, that's out of our control somewhat.
Yeah.
when you're an aggressive football team. I know the Miami Hurricanes were very aggressive. Penn State was very aggressive. And when you look at their record and then you look at their penalties, it kind of goes hand in hand. Just because they're pursuing the ball so much, they're grabbing as much as they can to get somebody. So you're going to get those little face masks and stuff like that. That's not as frustrating as the personal fouls, like the ones that are just when you're blocking someone in the back or you're late
away from
somebody away from the play. Those are the frustrating ones. But the ones where you're swarming the football and you're trying to get somebody and you just accidentally grab the face mask, those things happen.
Yep. Special teams. Talk about the special teams on Friday night.
It was probably the worst part of our game the other night, but we had some bright spots. Our kicker, he was putting the ball inside the 5, and he put two touchbacks.
Yep.
And then amazing the kickoff coverage that we have with Blake Bradley. Blake was our special teams player of the game. Defensive player of the game was Bryson Morrell, who had the scoop and score, but he graded out at 100%. He led people. But special teams, Blake Bradley. Blake was, he forced the ball everywhere and made a bunch of tackles on special teams. So he had a great game, and his was just that relentless pursuit again. So it was fun to watch.
Taking a look at this coming week, we are at home this Friday night here at Redskins Stadium, and we'll have it live on Video Productions. And a Capital Cougars team that you're very familiar with, and but a little down this year, but they still have talent. It's still Capital.
It's Capital.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the kids grow up at West Side and Horseman, and they always have success. So, I talked to the kids about this today. Quit worrying about who your opponent is. Quit worrying about their record. Focus on you and take care of business. When you take care of business and try to improve every single week, then you get better. And then whenever you get like into a major game against someone that's big time or whatever their record may be, then you're prepared for it. But if you start playing, and I'm not saying this about Capital, I'm just saying overall, but like you start playing to the level of your competition, you become the level of your competition. So
is that something you drill into their head throughout the week?
Every week. It doesn't matter if we're playing, I've always say this, the Green Bay Packers or the, it doesn't matter. Like you have to play at your highest level every single week, especially in this conference.
Yep.
You said it.
Oh, yeah.
You said it. They're still Capital.
Yeah.
Capital is
they still have
got a
speed.
tremendous history. They've got a lot of fast kids out there. Mark Mason's a guy that knows football, so they're going to be ready to go. So we've got to bring our A game and do what we have to do to win that game.
What are some of the things that you'd like to see that you guys improve on from week 1 to week 2?
I want to see our special teams get better. Offensively, I'd like to see our route running be a lot better, and I want to see our tempo. I know we go really fast, but I want to see if we can go faster. Our goal is to snap the ball within 8 seconds from the 40-second clock ticking off. So
I don't think that was the goal for Winfield.
No. I don't think so either. A couple of times I was just over getting some water coming back, and then they were just snapping the ball. But, to each their own. They run a different style of offense, which is fine. But we're just more high-paced, up-tempo, and trying to get the ball out in space and make some plays. So I thought our kids did a good job with that, but we want to improve in the tempo area.
Yeah. So special teams improvement, tempo.
Yeah, and then defensively, just making sure that our alignments are correct and we're not doing we're not making silly alignment mistakes to give them big holes.
And obviously cutting down on penalties.
Well, that's all. Yeah, that's whenever you get the number of penalties we have, I think that's something that we need to work on. But like I said, some of it's iffy, some of it's legit. But it is what it is, and we'll try to improve upon that too.
Injury-wise, I think everybody's still healthy. Maybe a couple of dings on Friday night, but that's to be expected. But health-wise, you're good here for week 2. Talk about the importance of your training staff.
Man, I'll tell you, we're lifting 3 times a week in the off season still. We went and studied Clemson, who their off season training. A lot of people talk about maintaining in the off season, or recovery, which recovery is a big deal, but we are also trying to make some small strength gains throughout the off season.
You're talking about in season?
In the off season, we're still trying to make small gains. That's what Clemson's doing. I'm talking about I'm sorry, yeah, in season. Yeah.
We're not
Off season and in season. That's what I meant to say. We're trying to do them both.
Okay.
We're trying to get gains as the season's going on as well. So, and that's Coach Lamar Martin, and he's got those guys in there pushing them, and it's pretty good for us. And as long as we can get stronger and not do it to the point where you're so tired, we're not overusing it. I think it's a fine line.
It's a balance.
It's a balancing thing, but Clemson does it. They seem to have a lot of success, and Alabama's doing it. So, I know that we're not those caliber teams, but if you look at who's doing it the right way, I think you got to start with those two in college football.
Yep. And then obviously your athletic training staff as well. Brian Sigmund heads that up, does a great job here at Hurricane.
Oh, we have about everything that you could possibly need to get back. And he's in constant contact with me about making sure that, this player's doing the right thing, or this player's coming in to see him, and he's got all the sleeves and all the blow-up tools and stuff like that in there, and then the massage guns. Like, he's got enough massage guns. I think each kid could have their own.
Yeah.
So, it's a great setup, and then, he'll come in on Sundays in his office and do special treatments for the kids. It's just, he called me one time. I didn't even know he's doing it, but he had a couple kids up here just getting them back. I know, Heath, who's coming on the show, had a bad ankle injury against. It was our first scrimmage against Parkersburg South, and it was a freak thing. It happened on the sideline. He took his shoe off, and it was purple.
Yeah.
Like, it ran from the side of his foot all the way to his ankle, and it was the darkest purple I've ever seen. And I was like, he played like that? And they were like, yeah. Well, by Tuesday, it was almost gone.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen that. I've seen a lot of kids with ankle injuries, and they might be out for 2 or 3 weeks. He could have played against Buckhannon Upshur in that scrimmage, but we held him out just precautionary to get him ready for week 1.
Yep.
So he's still improving, but I think credit goes to Sigmund and his staff.
Yep. They do a wonderful job here at Hurricane. And like you said, we'll have senior Heath Montgomery here. You called him the snake handler preseason, threw that snake off the practice field. Saved your life.
Yeah, well, it was a black snake. So I know it wasn't going to kill me, but I'd still, at this point, I'm not going to mess with a snake. And he just walked up, Crocodile Dundee, threw it into the thing, and said, let's go.
Yep. So we'll take a break. Again, the Donnie Mays Coaches Show is presented by Generations Physical Therapy. Check them out at the website, generationspt.com. We'll be back.
Generations Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and walk-in services available. Generations Physical Therapy. Multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can trust.
Welcome back into the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Again, Jack Withrow alongside Donnie Mays, our last segment with you, Coach. And we want to talk about last week. We talked about the new uniforms. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you came out with new decals on the helmet. These are nice.
Changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, went a little old school, but modernized it a little bit.
Yeah, if you can look closely, you can see the H that like Utah used, that they used up here for a long time. So we kind of put that as the dot of the I. Went back to the 80s whenever skins was like the cursive thing. And they used to have just a basic under wrap.
Right.
So what I did is I took the feathers off the circled H and put it underneath here, and had a guy put it together for me. And we just kept texting back and forth, and he was doing all the artwork for me.
Right. Oh, you didn't draw that?
I can't draw that. No. I don't want to mess up his last name. His name's Ethan Demerdorf. Yeah. I mean, but he's really talented. He helps out Riverside with a lot of things, and he's helped me out a bunch. And I was giving him my idea, and he just kind of put it out there, and I think he did a great job with it.
The reception from the kids, did they like it?
I think they really liked
it.
Yeah. And I think that, a couple coaches and myself were talking, like, should we change? Should we do it? And they're like, you got to do it. If we're going to change something, we got to do it now. And I think the coolest feedback that I had was talking to former coach Jeremy Taylor, who played here and had a lot of buddies of his, texting him and just saying how awesome it was. So that's refreshing to hear, because you're not trying to come in and upset people and stuff like that. You're trying to like blend some history and tradition together with something new, and the chrome kind of to me, it makes it pop.
Right.
Now, I mean, I get it. Like on the TV, you don't really see it as well, but you can see it when you're out there.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
Yep. Looks good. And like you said, you modernized a little old tradition in the skins and script. So, I like it.
I do too.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You know what else is we had a problem with our former decals of sticking.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had no tack to them. So it kind of frustrated all of us.
Yep.
So instead of just going out and getting new ones, create a whole new design, see if we can't get the old stick to it. And these things right here, it would take a straight razor to get them to come off.
Yep.
So that's good for us.
Good stuff on the new decals, brand new uniforms, and we'll have the home Reds on this Friday night as we take on Capital. Coach, let's go 1-0 on the week again.
1-0 on the week. Get out here and support the boys. We appreciate everybody that comes out.
I'll tell you what, before you go, a lot of people to thank, but you guys, after the game, went over here to Bubba Reno's here in Taze Valley.
Is that not cool?
That's great.
That's cool. So I talked to the parents and I said, hey, I'd like to get our kids together after every game and the coaches and just kind of hang out and enjoy the moment. You know, whether you win or lose, I mean, I get it. And I'm probably not going to be as receptive whenever you lose a game.
Right.
But still, when you win together, you celebrate. When you lose together, you share that loss together. So I think that's important in building a team. So what we did is we reached out to some of the businesses here. Bubba Reno's has been fantastic. Food's delicious, by the way. We had a packed house over there after the game. A lot of coaches were over there. Almost every player was there. And just got to spend about an hour and a half, 2 hours together. Go home, get some rest, and get back up the next morning. So they were great. Yep.
Well, I hope to be there this Friday celebrating another victory.
Now, this Friday we're going to Applebee's.
Oh, we're going to Applebee's this way.
We're doing
We're going to
Applebee's
mix it up. I see how we do it.
Just for 1 week. I think just for 1 week. They're going to give us a nice discount. And
You're not going to have someone to go to Applebee's with. You'll be sitting by yourself eventually at Applebee's all alone. And who wants to go to Applebee's by themselves?
We're going to go over there, but we'll be back to Bubba Reno's. That was a real nice setup.
Okay. We want to thank the folks at Bubba Reno's for that on Friday night and for all that they do for Hurricane football, as well as all the businesses and individuals that contribute to the football team and the coaches and the players. So thank you for that. And, Coach, again, 1-0 on the week.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Generations Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and walk-in services available. Generations Physical Therapy. Multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can trust.
And welcome back into the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Jack Withrow, and now I'm joined by senior defensive back Heath Montgomery. And Heath, big stick, snake handler, and yoga instructor is what they tell me.
Yep.
You're like the one of the most interesting guys in Hurricane right now.
I would say so.
Tell us about how did you become a yoga instructor?
Well, my mom, she does yoga pretty much every day. And when I was a freshman, I was, tight, didn't stretch a lot. So, it affected my play. And she introduced me to yoga, and I've just been doing it ever since.
I've tried yoga a couple of times. I'm built like a 4x4 board, and I just do not bend. But maybe I can take you up on some yoga.
It takes a lot of time to build some flexibility.
It does.
Yeah.
And so you lead the team in yoga.
I do.
How's that going?
I think everyone enjoys it. You know, we take, 20, 30 minutes every time after we lift, and we just do some yoga, sit down, breathe, just recuperate, talk.
Do your teammates like it?
I would say they do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So a warm reception on the yoga then.
Yeah.
So that's good. Let's switch gears here. Preseason, all the talk was you and the snake. Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, there was some.
Did Donnie scream like a girl?
Donnie did not scream like a girl, but he was pretty frightened. People said it was on the field and stuff, but it was actually in the locker room. Right when you walk in the locker room, there's like a case where we hold all our cleats and stuff, and it was right in the bottom. And we didn't know if it was real at first because it was just sitting there. Someone threw a bottle at it, and it struck the bottle, and everyone started freaking out. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's just a black snake. So I just reached down and grabbed it, picked it up, and then just walked outside and threw it in the bushes.
Well, Donnie says that you saved his life, even though it was a black snake. But, yeah, great job there. Let's talk about you and your approach to football, and especially on Friday night. What's your mindset going into a game?
You know, it's very, intense but relaxed. You know, you take every single rep serious, but at the same time you don't go so serious that you have enough, mental capability to stand back and watch and, see all the little mistakes and stuff that you make to get better.
So it's always calm in the mind.
Yeah, it's always calm but intense at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So do you try to help your teammates in the back, try to stay at a level to where they're not too high, not too low during the ball game?
All the time. You tell people, stay calm, especially after, you give up a big play or something, emotions are high. But that's when I feel you got to be your calmest, is when something big happens against you.
Yep. Let's talk about that big play. You had a big stick on Friday night, came up. Explain what happened.
Well, at first, it seemed to be a sweep to the right side, but at the last second, you see the reverse sweep, and you got to, being the cutback player that I was at the time, that's my job, is to watch, a cutback or a reverse. And I seen it happen, and the quarterback came and tried to block me. I got out of the way of him, and then came up, and Jaden Smith had grabbed his feet, and he was falling forward, and I just, unloaded, form tackle, and it happened.
Feels great, doesn't it?
It felt very great. It felt very great.
Let's talk about the season and your expectations, not only for yourself, but your team this year.
I mean, we have big expectations. I feel that the only thing holding us back is just everyone just buying in and everyone staying committed. And I feel like if everyone just, really believes and just connects on a like a brotherhood level, we'll be unstoppable.
Does that come back from doing yoga?
I think it does, yeah.
Does the whole team do the yoga?
Yeah, everyone does yoga.
That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Well, Keith, we are glad you joined us here this week.
Glad to be on.
I know you said this is your first interview ever.
Very first.
In front of a camera like this.
Very first.
I think you did a wonderful job. Your mom's going to be proud, even though she teaches at that other school over there.
She doesn't. She actually got a new job at the Hurricane Middle.
Oh, really?
Yep, this year.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Well, I thought she was teaching over at Winfield, but she's at Hurricane Middle.
Yep. She came over here. She was like, I had to move over here. And I was like, that's
there
good.
you go.
Yep.
Put the red on.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to wish you the best of luck this week against Capital and throughout the season, and we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
That's Heath Montgomery, the senior on this Hurricane Ball Club, also a snake handler and the yoga instructor. So that'll do it for this week on the Coach Donnie Mays Show. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank Generations Physical Therapy as well as our presenting sponsor. Again, we want to remind everybody, Friday night, you can watch the game live on Video Productions. We'll have the kickoff and pre-game plus post-game afterwards with play-by-play and commentated by Derek Regal, a Hurricane guy. So we'll see you then, and let's go Redskins.